So this is a review for Porky's Poor Fish, released in 1940. It's the 284th in the series, and it's directed by Bob Clampett. You can find this on the Looney Tunes Gone Collection Volume 4 DVD set, it's on the Porky Pig 101 DVD set, and there's even a HD version that's on the Blu-ray of The Seahawk, which I believe the short played before when it was released all those years ago. Now, in case you haven't seen this short, well, it's a Porky short almost without Porky. But essentially you have a cat wanting to, eat a mouse, he's hungry, discovers the fish shop, and then all sorts of shenanigans happen in this particular fish shop that's owned by Porky, who goes out to lunch, conveniently. So what you're going to see first is a re-edit of the original audio commentary I did before I had to take that down. My good friend Blue Genocide joins me for that one, and he's the editor of this particular video too, so he's pulling double duty. So once you see that, I've done a new commentary on the actual storyboard / layouts for this short and the deleted scenes, and then you hear some new thoughts from me as well at the end. So grab some popcorn and enjoy. And with me today is my good friend Blue Genocide. Say hi.
I just want to point out real quick that my file, for whatever reason, is called Porky's Poor Fist. So maybe he punched Daffy out finally, and that's why he's been appearing a little bit less lately. What I will say about this, and I think lots of people have probably said it in your commentaries, is that Schlesinger was a big fan of Porky. So Clampett was probably forced to use him a whole heck of a lot more often than other characters. And you know what? Considering how much of a breakout star Daffy was, I'm kind of surprised we don't see him a whole lot more often.
You can see right away, we don't even start with Porky, we start with these two characters. I mean, well animated and all that, and it sets up the cartoon, but it's pretty obvious that Clampett is just bored of Porky, because Porky doesn't even appear in it for until 2 minutes, and then he does a little song, and then we don't see him again for one brief moment after, and we're done. It does show, at the very least, how professional Clampett actually was in his cartoons, because he had that stipulation. Yep, it's got to have Porky in it, quote unquote, starring Porky, even though he doesn't. But he still gets the cartoon done, and he tries all these clever ways to get around that and do his own thing. Like here, it's like a spot gag type cartoon, of course. But
oh God,
it's similar to Avery's Fresh Fish, where he did a similar theme, where it's a spot gag cartoon involving fish, and and of course the oyster bed. Ha ha.
Oh,
now,
God.
Chi, did you see that coming? I mean, when you saw the words hammerhead shark, no?
No, absolutely not. That was so genius and
never been done before.
That's a great shot.
It is indeed. There's a lot to like that this one.
Oh, you must be loving this short. All the dad jokes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So it's like, let's get Porky out of here. We're gonna do other things now. See you later.
This is an early forerunner for Sylvester, I bet. One of them.
Yeah, more or less. I love the design of the into lunch, of course. I love the design. I mean, look at that. That is such an appealing drawing right there.
He reminds me of the Terry, like the Terry Toons cat that they always like to use at Terry Toons, like the black cat with the face pattern, whatever.
Look, it's definitely one of the stronger Clampetts, I think, during this period where he's just not interested in Porky. So, but it's not his best, but it's certainly a solid one, at least in my view. But I mean, what do you think from seeing this one right now?
Yeah, this is basically a live reaction from me. So, yeah, this feels a lot like one of the book shorts that Clampett would do a lot, and Tashlin too. But done with a little bit of Porky, just so they could call it a Porky and fill out that mandate. We have to have a certain amount of Porkies done every year. I will say before we go that 1940. We all know who's coming, 1940. But I bet Clampett was really happy when a new character broke out as a star and he could start using him too, instead of.
And there's Popeye. There's Popeye in a cameo.
Oh, hey, Porky, it's your own short. Shouldn't you be here more often? Maybe he was on a bender this week.
You just see the cat. He's going to go after this mouse. And this shot right here, is one of the funniest in the entire short right here. Look at that. Wow. Incredible.
He
Absolutely
starts
incredible.
crying.
Beautiful. Now, before I get into the further thoughts, I thought it was really cool that they had the actual storyboards on that Looney Tunes Gone Collection volume, and this comes from the Bob Clampett estate, and I just wanted to show you guys the differences between what happened here and the end product. So, it's pretty straightforward at this point. It follows what the cartoon was doing, so of course you got the whole, cat chases mouse. He's clearly hungry, they're establishing it, but wow, these drawings are pretty detailed for layouts, because typically they're just mainly scratches, Yep, under new mismanagement. Like, they still had that sign, even though it was in the end product. Yep, the electric eel gag, that was still in there. Yeah, see, they still had the same dad jokes that I absolutely adored. Yep, they're all here. Beautiful. This one's interesting because it's reused animation from Porky's 5 and 10. I wonder if that was always the plan, or if it was just a gag that was done and then they realized, hey, we can reuse it. Lunch! I love how expressive that drawing was. So out to lunch, and we even see the whole gag, the whole into lunch, and we see the... Of course, the shot was done differently in the short itself, but here it's about the same. He's rolling up his quote-unquote sleeve, trying to get, this particular muscle, but the bed oyster rather, and of course oyster bed, but the bed looked different in the finished product. Look at that face. That's great. Then, yeah, so they're showing the warning, and then in the final product, this particular shot was done in silhouette. So it's interesting that how things change from the layout stage to the finished product. Two arms, and of course, yep, as I mentioned, Paul Revere. Yep, it's Paul Revere. And even this shot is done at a different angle. So I wonder if it's just a case of Clampett looking at these and just using it like as a bare bones basic thing for his shorts, because a lot of the shots just ended up getting changed. And this one here, like, we don't see the actual plain area, we just see that there's, flying fish. Haha, that's wonderful gag, beautiful dad joke right there. But it's being used so many times, though. So many times. This one's interesting because in the final short, it was a literal hammerhead shark. It's a shark with a hammer on its head, which, of course, is a lot funnier than this. So this is definitely a revision that Clampett did get right. I don't even know what sort of fish the other thing is, really. Electric eel, yeah. So this was, I think, the same sort of shot in the finished product. So it's a case of, yeah, there's a lot of shots that are the same and a lot that just was changed up. But these layouts are pretty good. I wonder who actually drew them. If you have the answer, definitely let me know. And yep, we get confirmation that yep, they were definitely riffing on Popeye, because this is 1940. Popeye was still pretty huge, although not long after this, sadly, there's all sorts of studio shenanigans between the Fleischers, and yeah, and it's a rather sad end there. And yeah, the ending's pretty much the same. I mean, yeah, Clampett would, of course, exaggerate further the whole thing with the mouse, but, for the purposes of layout, this is fine. They basically, yeah, had it copied. Rawr. So yeah, I love seeing this sort of stuff. It's absolutely fantastic. But even further, they actually had some extra deleted scenes. So let's take a look. I mean, yeah, swordfish resharpened. Gold paid for old goldfish. So this just looks like it was just extra padding. There was really no need for it. You got dogfish, catfish, haha. But yeah, I can see why they would have cut that. It would have been just too much. This part here, which looks like it would have been a song and dance number for a turtle, this definitely would have screwed up the actual timing on the original short. you know, looks kind of cute, but yeah, Clampett definitely made the right call to delete this from the end product. And the final deleted scene, and again, these are just so fascinating. These are absolutely amazing. So, we've already established that, yeah, the cat's hungry, he's trying to grab something, and there's no need to go on and on and on about it. But that whole Paul Revere sequence, they were going to have an extra scene there, which was interesting, I thought. But yeah, and of course we've got the light globes there as bombs. So yeah, very interesting. So there you go. Those were the storyboards. And, it's always fascinating to see that kind of stuff. But here's some more information. Now, there is actually 2 bits of reused animation, so I figure I'll get that out of the way because my editor loves doing these comparison shots. But that octopus thing, that comes from Porky's 5 and 10, the same animation. And again, I thought it was interesting that it was in the actual layout, storyboard. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happened there unless they really knew about it. But there's also a shot that was reused from What Price Porky, where instead of chicken, it's fish, but it's the same animation. So they just would have maybe chased over it or something. I'm not really sure. Now, a few references I did miss. Now, that whole 20,000 Leagues Under the Ceiling, that's a clear reference to the book 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I mean, the gag didn't really work for me. I don't know, it was just there, but whatever. That's what it's referring to. That 3 little fishes in an itty bitty bowl, that's a reference to the song 3 Little Fishes, Itty Bitty Pool. So I have not actually really heard that nursery rhyme. Apparently it's pretty, well known, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think I've ever even heard that. But anyway, and I'm not going to click on a video to find out because otherwise Google and YouTube will probably recommend me nothing but kids' nursery rhymes, which they did for quite a while I had my kids when they were very young. But anyway, and yeah, I mentioned Paul Revere shouting, 2 arms, 2 arms. And, it may even reference the fact that Chuck Jones did a show in 1939 called Old Glory, where they had the same sequence, with Paul Revere shouting, 2 arms, 2 arms. And the whole history of that is just fascinating because I was reading that what was taught in schools was pretty much an embellishment of what really happened. And, I'm not going to get into that here because I'm no expert on it, but some of the things that showed up is the fact that there is quite a bit of embellishment with some of what happened. But anyway. Now, as for the short itself, a few things that I didn't really point out in the original commentary that, watching this again, I still maintain that, yeah, it's a Porky-less Porky short, but it's still pretty funny. And it's quite clear that Clampett wanted to try something different here. And of course, with this cat, trying to get some food, first of all, why would Porky on his store put up that it's under new mismanagement? Why would he do that? It makes no sense. It's just, I think, funnier because of that point rather than the sign itself. But yeah, why would you essentially shoot yourself in the foot when it comes to the whole you taking over a business? But anyway, now, of course, I'm a connoisseur of dad jokes, and I love the whole, little shrimps with big muscles. Of course, right? Along with goldfish, because, we all know that they're literally made of gold. I mean, And, I've got to say, out of all of them, my 2 favorite ones, they got heaps of great runners-up, like the electric eels, the holy mackerel, that's literally holy, the oyster bed, and the flying fish, of course. The 2 best ones for me is, of course, the tuna being the chicken of the sea, and just, it's coming, but just when it starts clucking, it just gets me. I don't know why. It's so stupid, but I love it. And the other one is probably the simplest one, just perch. And it's just a fish on a perch. Okay, why not? Why not? But I do want to give thumbs up to the whole hammerhead shark, not just because of how stupid that joke is, and I love it for that reason, but I love the design of that shark. It's just such an appealing design, and speaking of designs, that I mentioned this in the commentary, but that cat, it's so appealing, and a similar cat would end up being in a few other Clampett shorts of this particular period before later on he would do a more, I guess, Sylvester type ones. But in terms of other gags, the whole whistle saying "la lunch. I wonder if that was just reused from one of the Schlesinger Christmas videos where you actually hear the whole lunch and everyone's, running out of the office because that's, a bit more fun than going into work. And this short also shows a few things that is a sign to come for what Clampett shorts will end up being once it takes over Tex Avery units. And two notable parts. I've already mentioned the whole amazing thing at the end with the mouse just growing and roaring at the cat, and the cat, of course, shrinks and starts crying. That's certainly one. But the other one is the shot of the cat pressed against the window. And you can just see that Clampett's slowly starting to become that Clampett of the shorts that we know him more for, which, of course, are all the color ones that he did, as I said, when he took over Tex Avery's unit. And, of course, runner-up is the animation of the electric eel, well, the electric shock when the eel grabs onto the cat. That's perfect. I absolutely love that. All in all, it's an entertaining short. See, this is an interesting mix of a Tex Avery spot gag cartoon and even a Merry Melodies, like one of those books come to life type shorts, or even the earlier Merry Melodies where it's just things coming to life when the owner's gone kind of short, and which Clampett himself would have helped work on as an animator in some of the really early ones in the Schlesinger studios. So it's got that nice, interesting mix, and then he just puts Porky in just because that's what the boss wants, and yeah, he just goes to town with what he's good at as well. So you get that nice mix, and for me, this short gets a nice solid 7.5 out of 10. It's entertaining, nothing too memorable perhaps, but it's funny. It's stupidly funny, and I mean that in a nice way. It's really stupid, but boy, do I love it for being stupid at times. So yeah, 7.5 out of 10, I think, is a fair score for this short. But that'll do it for this one. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, take care.